guys, Leela here. Welcome back to my weekly AuthorTuber series. This week I'm going to be talking about the pros and cons of Amazon KDP, which is Kindle Direct Publishing. First, I'll go over two non-KDP publication options and then compare those with KDP. So when it comes time to publish your book, there's a few different routes you can take. The first is the traditional publishing house route, where you pick a publishing house and you're usually going through an agent and you're getting about 5 to 15% of the book proceeds for each sale, and the publisher and the agent get the rest. And this is because they have to cover things like printing your book, distributing your book to bookstores, stocking your book on the bookshelves, and everything that sort of goes into those distribution costs. And the agent and publisher will give you feedback on changes to make to your book that will make it more marketable and maybe change certain features of it to fit more within the genre that you're publishing under. This could be seen as a pro or a con depending on what your ultimate goal is. So if your goal is to sell as many books as possible and you're fine with altering your book to fit into whatever marketable trends in the genre happen to be popular at the time of publication, and if you want that direct oversight and guidance into the marketing aspect, then maybe this is the route that you want to go. Alternatively, if you prioritize creative control and autonomy over the direction of your book, and that's your top goal, and you don't really fit into a specific genre, or you're writing a cross-genre book, and if you're okay with sacrificing on the marketing and business aspects of things, then maybe you would see that as a con to sort of be beholden to staying inside the box of the given constraints imposed by either the genre or the publisher or perhaps the agent. And the second route I'm going to talk about is the traditional self-publishing route. So with traditional self-publishing, like for example on lulu.com, you would just upload your book and then pay to print out however many copies of the book you would like. So then you can set up a website, for example, and mail out copies of the book depending on who orders them. So the pros are that this could work well if you're doing a very small circulation book, like for example, maybe a family story for a family reunion or get together or something like that. And the cons would be that if you have a larger scale operation, or if your smaller operation grows into a larger operation, then that could be a lot to take on for the author, to be wearing the hats of not only the writer, but also the publisher, the distributor, and handling all of the business end of things. So that could just be a lot to take on if you just want to be the author and focus on that. So one word of warning is you'll want to avoid vanity press publishing, and those are places that will charge you thousands of dollars to publish and print your book, since they're basically just scams that take advantage of newbie authors who don't really understand the options available to them when it comes to the publishing landscape. So the third route I'll talk about is Amazon KDP, which is Kindle Direct Publishing, and that's the option that I did. So the first pro of this option is that you're working on the Amazon platform, so your book will be available to worldwide readership and all the people who are using Amazon. So the royalties of the books for Amazon will also be much higher than the traditional publishing route. For example, 70% for Amazon versus 5% for traditional publishing, or maybe a little higher depending on which publishing house you go to. So that is a huge difference if you're talking 70% versus 5%. And the reason that Amazon can do those high royalties is because they have a much more efficient distribution channel set up. So instead of printing copies from a single publishing print house center and then mailing them to bookstores across the country, which is what would happen with the traditional publishing route, Amazon prints them on demand, which means that they only print them after someone orders your book. And so what they'll do is they'll print it out from the nearest Amazon center to the person who ordered the book. So this allows for a much more efficient operation and lower overhead costs, and that means higher royalties for the authors. Another pro of Amazon is the author autonomy and updatability. So after you upload your file into the Amazon KDP bookshelf, you can log in at any time and you can update it. And you can also have the customizability of uploading your book. So for example, you pick 2 subgenres and 7 keywords. And I'll do a video on that in the future and go more into detail on those features. But the main pro of the Amazon option, in my opinion, other than the exposure of being on Amazon, is the ability to do Amazon KDP Select. And this is what I chose to do. And with KDP Select, you sign a binding contract to only publish on Amazon and not to publish under traditional publishers or competitors like, for example, Apple iBooks or Barnes & Noble Nook. And in exchange for this exclusivity, you have your book show up on Amazon Kindle Unlimited on their list for the Amazon Kindle Unlimited readers. And those are the people who are subscribing to Amazon Kindle Unlimited, and they're getting all of the books on Amazon available to them, and they're paying a monthly fee for this in order to get access to all the Kindle Unlimited books for just that simple monthly fee. And that goes into the author fund, and that allows new authors, for example, to be able to get this expansive readership as an indie author who may not be known yet if you're just starting out. And authors actually get compensated by page views in this method rather than by book sales. So that's another advantage for new authors who might not have that name recognition of people searching for their work just quite yet. And another perk to Amazon KDP is the ability to do free book promotions, and this is with KDP Select. You can do free book promotions for 24 hours for a certain time period where your book is available for free, and it shows up on the free pages option for your genre, and then people who are browsing the free books that day in the genre would see your book and maybe be more incentivized to download it because it's on the list of free books. And this is for people who wouldn't be unlimited members where they're already getting the books for free. So this would be for the non-unlimited members. And this can give you a whole new reader base, and this will just get more exposure for your book. So the cons of this option with Amazon KDP would be things, for example, like if you're trying to make a specific request to change any features, like for example, the free sample of your book or something like that. You are dealing with a large corporation, so you can kind of get the corporate runaround and circular conversations where you're transferred back and forth to various departments. But if you stick with the main format and you just upload your book and upload the cover and pick your keywords and pick your categories and pick your book dimensions and fonts and just enter in all the information that it's asking for, it should all go really smoothly and you won't have any major issues with it. Another con, or maybe depending on what you view as a con, a possible con, would be that you won't get as much hand-holding in terms of your marketing of the book, and you are going to kind of have to do your own marketing. So you'll need to do your own promotion for your book. You can do an AuthorTuber channel or just post on social media, and you won't get that same hand-holding you get from the traditional publishers. So if you really want that hand-holding, it might be best to go with a traditional publisher. But that being said, I wouldn't go in expecting that, because that's possible that you'll get that, but it's oftentimes not the case, especially if you're an indie author and they're kind of going to be more focused on the bigger name authors. So if you're going the traditional publishing route expecting the publishing company to be the ones really doing the marketing of your book, that might end up not happening to the extent that you think it would happen. So you might want to specifically ask about that and look into what they're going to do to help you, because a lot of the authors I've talked to that did go that route, they kind of expected to have a lot of help in that regard, and then they didn't really end up getting that much marketing help. So I would be sure to look into that and specifically ask about that if that's a big priority for you. And anyway, that is the basic summary of the pros and cons of different methods of publishing your book. And if anyone has any questions about those topics, you can comment below and I'll try to answer them as best I can. And I will see you guys next time. Thank you for watching. Bye.